Hello YouTube, and welcome back to the Legendary Burrito, Part 4. Hold on a tick. Alright, so last we left off, it was 4:16 at 8:35 in the morning. And our quartet of heroes and heroines, Kips, Joel, Jiku, and Sadface, had just gotten Carrot Top's bag, giant prop bag, Carrot C. Gallagher. I need to get my special on. Hold on, tick. But before I begin, this will only take a couple of seconds. I swear to fucking God. I first want to apologize for taking so long to get part 4 out. It's been one hell of a trip. Seriously, it has. That, and I've been busy with Discord, and we've got 60 members, and I've got to take care of a whole bunch of things, and now I'm a mod for a second server, and that's all fun. That's all fun. I'll link to my Discord server in the description below. Beep. Alright, hold on, tick. Alright, so they had just left the abandoned theater, actually the abandoned hotel, and like I said previously, okay, fun times, let's keep it going. So they had just are you done? Can I talk? Can I do my thing? So fuck. They had just left the hotel, and all of a sudden Kips gets a ring on his phone. So he's like, hold on guys, hold on. So he goes off a little ways, and Joel, Jiku, and Sadface are all waiting in the car because they now have a car. This is fucking amazing. They can get to point A to point B faster. It is absolutely mind-blowing. So it turns out to be, Kip's dad on the phone, and he's like, Dad, what's going on? And his dad's like, well, son, it turns out that apparently I was infected with the evil bastard virus. And Kips is just stone cold shocked. He's like, I don't get it. How could this be? What's going on here? And his dad's like, well, it was all part of an evil prophecy that someone would eat a giant burrito, and well, I want to sign up. And Kips was like, well, what's going on, man? How could you do this to me? And his dad's like, there was $20 in it, plus a pack of cigarettes. And, Kips is just downright stricken with grief. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe, I have to go through this. Why? What in the world? And then all of a sudden, the clouds part, and then God just... He just farts his way down to the ground, and Kips is like, God, what the fuck is going on? Why did you make my dad one of the evil bastards that I have to defeat? And God's like, dude, I had nothing to do with it. All I did was just go click, the universe happened, and then the rest is on you. Also, Pastafarian religions are right. There is a newly appendage monster out there. It's made of spaghetti. Yeah. And so he farts his way back to heaven. And Kips is like, that, what the fuck? And so he's thinking to himself, oh my God, I just can't believe this. I can't believe that my dad sold himself out for $20 and a pack of cigarettes. And, Joel is, still playing fucking Brick Breaker, and he's, it's getting harder and harder for him, and he's, like, getting really fucking irritated with it, and Chico's like, I know, right? You can't beat my skull, bitch! And Joel was like, fuck you, man. I bought this game. So, Kips keeps thinking to himself, like, how do I have to go all the way back home and defeat my dad? What? Guys, help me out here. And Sadface is like, well, maybe if you just ask him for the piece of whatever, he'll give it to you without, a fight. And Kips is like, no, you just do not know my dad. You don't know him at all, okay? Like, if I went back there would be there would be a major argument, like a major argument. I once took a can of Cheese Whiz, bacon flavored Cheese Whiz, and all of a sudden in the back of the car you hear, oh, because as everyone knows, on planet Earth, bacon is the king of food. Just, yeah. So they pile in the car, and the trip back home is silent. They pass the hotel. They pass the exploded corpse of Whale Piscamo. They pass the exploded mechanical mess that was Voltron in that defunct Radio Shack. They pass Bob Hoskins, who's like, I want my hat back. And Kips is like, fuck you, Bob Hoskins. Fuck you, I'm keeping the hat. It's like, what the fuck did I ever do? And they get back home, and it's this sobering moment. Kips thinks to himself. He pauses. He remembers, like, good times he had with his dad up until this moment. And it's just absolutely heartbreaking. It's completely and utterly out of his mind, and Sadface looks at him, and she's thinking to herself, man, I've got to do something for my friend here. I've got to do something for my friend. And so she gets this idea, what if we go in and fight him, and you can stay out here and, reflect on a lot of things. And Kips looks her in the eye. There's a tone of seriousness in his voice. He's like, no, I have to do this. I really have to do this. I started this journey to get to that legendary burrito at Chipotle across the frickin' world, and that's what we're going to do. We have to defeat 12 evil bastards. I just can't. I'm still absorbing the shock that one of the evil bastards happens to be my dad. And, hold on. And Joel is thinking to himself, like, what if this were one of my relatives that we had to fight? What if we had to go through this monumental task of reclaiming these seemingly unconnected pieces, and we had to, like, defeat these people? These people have families, they have fathers and mothers and brothers and sisters. Some of them have, husbands and wives. Why was today the day that, it was revealed to Kips that he had to fight his father? And so they're all sitting out there in silence, and 15 minutes pass, and it's, the 23rd of April, 2:15 p.m. The mail truck, drives by, and she stops, and, she and Kips have talked for a long periods of time, between drops. And she's like, what seems to be the matter? And Kips turns to her. He's heartbroken. He's crying. He's not himself. And he says to her, my dad is one of the 12 evil bastards that I have to defeat in order to defeat a giant burrito over at Chipotle. The mail lady looks at him and goes, "You mean the Chipotle down the street?" And Kips goes, No, different Chipotle, different Chipotle. This thing is massive, it's sentient, it's got boxing gloves, it's just, you know. And, you know, she turns to him and she goes, "Well, I was contacted by the shady organization, and, you know, they told me that I had to stop someone who would come looking for the giant burrito. And this is another bomb, just blows his mind away. Just absolutely horrifies him. Like, I can't believe this. Twice in one day, he has to get rid of his favorite male person, and he also has to defeat his dad." And Kips is just beside himself with grief. He doesn't even know how to process the information. So the mail lady goes, "Oh, here's what I'll do. I'm gonna go easy on you. We still have to fight. We still have to do this. If you want to achieve your goal, you have to power through every single obstacle that you can possibly imagine, even the ones that seem like they'll just tear you apart inside." And Kips is like, "Yeah, I get that, but how?" And she stops him right there. She looks him dead in the eye. She leans close and she goes, "You, Kips, you have to defeat me. I don't like it any more than you do. But while you're trying to KO me, I'm going to try my best to KO you. And your friends." And Joel, Jiku, and Sadface are like, "Well, finally, thank you for remembering us, Jesus Christ." But Kips isn't paying attention to that. He's not thinking about the burrito. He's not thinking about Chipotle. He's not thinking about this adventure. He's thinking about the fact that he has to eliminate, in a way kill, their mail lady and his own dad in order to, like, progress. It's this wall of doubt, this wall of, I'm not sure I can do this. And the mail lady, she smacks him in the head, just, "Get a hold of yourself. You think I want to do this? You think I want to be out here learning that I have to defeat you? Stop you from getting to the legendary burrito? Do you know what will happen if you get to that thing? Do you know?" And he's like, "No, I just want to get to it. I had no idea of the implications or, you know, the after effects or what it would happen." The mail lady, again, she steps close to him. She looks at him in the eye. She says, "If you go after this legendary burrito, you will upset the balance that has been in place for thousands of years. The guys up top, they don't want you doing this. They can't have you doing this. And the guys at the bottom, they're suffering. They want you to press forward. And me, I'm just doing my job. I don't care either way. 4 days ago, I was just a mail lady. I went in my truck. I delivered mail, packages, gifts, parcels, you name it. But then I got tapped for this. And I wasn't happy about it. Now, I've been dropping packages and pieces of mail off at your place for far longer than you've been alive. I remember your dad when," and Kip stops her right there. He goes, "When he didn't have the elephant trunk?" And she goes, "Yeah. Now, you get your friends And when you're ready, come at me. She starts to walk away. She stops, turns around. And in that instant, in her mind, Kipps is no longer the person, the man that she watched grow up. He's no longer, to her, the little boy who, during the summers, would drag out the kiddie pool, fill it to the beyond capacity with water, and just play in it all day. He's no longer, to her, the teenager who celebrated getting his driver's license, or watched take his date to the winter ball, then the junior formal, then the senior prom. In that moment, she put away every single bit of fondness for him. To her, Kipps was now an enemy. Kipps, on the other hand, was having doubts. He was obstructed. He couldn't get past what was happening. Joe, Jiku, and Sadface, they get out of the car. They clap a hand on his shoulder, and they say to him, actually Sadface says to him, "We've got to do this, Kipps. She has to go down. It's gonna suck, and you're gonna hate yourself for it. But in the long run, you will become stronger. Always remember that." And Kipps, he's thinking to himself, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. And all of a sudden, he hears a knock coming from the inside of his house. It's his dad. He's thinking to himself, well, what could he want? And his dad opens the door. His trunk's all waving about like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, "Son, you have to do this. It sucks for everyone. But always know that I love you. I'm very proud of you for how far you've come. You got a good group of friends with you. Now, do your best and kick this lady's ass, so that way I can attempt to kick yours." And it's this odd sensation. Kipps is thinking to himself, this is fucked up. This is beyond fucked up. He's paralyzed, but then there's this little tiny drop, this little spark that kind of sets something off within him. It's this slow change, this slow growing of confidence. It's this just slow turning of his mentality from the familiar into opposing. Sadface sees the change in Kipps's eyes. His stance becomes more confident, poised to attack at any moment. Jolf and Jiku, they equip their shotguns, their snipers, their assaults, and they stand at the ready. Kipps's father is watching from the front stoop of their house. He's sitting down, cracks open the beer, salutes, and it's at that moment that things get seriously intense between the two. 1 second. 1 second more. The mail lady springs into action. She's bounding back to her truck. The truck transforms into this giant mech. Kipps, Jove, Jiku, and Sadface start launching stickies, grenades, bouncing betties, RPGs, LRMs, every single thing they have at the structural weak points, the tires, the joints, the driver's seat itself. But the mail lady counters. She dodges and tries to flank him. Kip screams, "Spread out! Jove, Jiku, left and right side, sad face, get up on the roof and get a vantage point. Me, I'll try to keep it distracted." So Jove and Jiku, they go off to the sides and try to figure out where this thing's weak point is. It has to have something. And meanwhile, the mail lady's just staring Kip's down like, "Oh, I've got a package for you. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna end you. It's gonna stop you." Kips is thinking to himself, "Okay, I gotta stay focused. I gotta keep myself hyped. I gotta go fast." And then that's when it hits him. He has to go fast. He has to go faster. Hit harder. Be smarter. Do everything in his power to just kick the living shit out of this fucking monster that's right in front of him. And in that moment, the woman in the giant mail truck transformed into a giant mech is no longer the mail lady. It's no longer the person that delivered Christmas gifts from the grandparents. It's no longer the person that watched him grow up. It's no longer the person that spent Christmas Eve with them when he was 12 years old, or watched him take his date to the prom. To him, at that moment, she was in the same category as Bob Hoskins, as Voltron, as Sweet Tooth, as Whale Piscamo, as Carrot Top C. Gallagher. To him, at that moment, she had become just another thing standing in his way, and his mind just snaps into focus. So he takes out two stickies and just lobs them right at the knee joints, but the mail lady's too fast. She swerves, she dodges, she leaps into the air, she causes tens of thousands of millions of dollars in structural damage to the surrounding cul-de-sac, but fuck it, it's just a neighborhood. They're gonna rebuild in 4 months anyway, and escrow is gonna make a shit ton of money. So in essence, in reality, she's kind of helping the market along, but she doesn't take into account of Jove and Jiku at the sides in her blind spots. And Kip shouts right at that moment, "Go, go, 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 go!" And so Jove comes screaming out. He just power slides in between the mech's legs, aims up, finds the brake lines, and just snaps them both. The mech goes down for the count. Now it's Jiku's turn. He comes out, he Spartan kicks the living crap out of the ground, launches himself into the air, and lands on the hood of the giant mech face. And he's staring at the mail lady, and he's thinking of a clever line, but the mail lady is too fast. She commands the mech to just swat the living crap out of him. He goes slamming into the ground, skids a couple of feet. Finally, it's sad faces on her vantage point. From her view, it's perfect. The open doors are facing her. She has the shot. She just has the shot. Her fingers on the fucking trigger. The crosshairs are aimed directly at the mail lady's head, but the mail lady just turns and just stares at her, just gives her a fucking death stare. And it becomes all too clear that the mail lady had this fucking thing planned from the get-go. From out of nowhere, these two other mailmen in smaller, crappier tinfoil mechs, or basically they were just mailmen wrapped in tinfoil thinking they were mechs because they went to Michael Bay's newest Transformer movies, Transformers Dawn of, I don't know, the Scrap Heap, and they're just going, "Ah!" And without even a second thought, without even a minute, it's based on instinct. She just kills them both. They fall to the floor. She turns around, and the mech's just right there. The right headlight is right in her face, and the mail lady goes, "Oh, you thought you were going to do that, did you? You thought you were going to do that? Well, how about this?" And she raises a fist, and then Kips finally makes his move. He grabs onto one of the loose brake lines, starts climbing it like absolute fucking hell, and then gets to the part of the engine, the combustion, the radiator, and just starts hammering away at it with the butt of his assault rifle. Then when the fan breaks, he just turns around, points the business end at the carburetors and says, da 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 da, as much as he can. The bullets rip through the thing, strike the metal, and it starts sputtering. The mech just falters. It's all and the fist is literally 4 feet away from Sadface. She's petrified. He's like, take the shot! Take the fucking shot! Take her down! And Sadface all of a sudden snaps into attention. Jolv and Jiku are throwing grenades into either side of the front seat, and those things are just sticking to her all over the face. One just pops right into her eye, and she's like, no! And so, with just one final word, she just like turns slowly, like cross her, and the male lady's staring at her right in the eyes, like, you just would not. And she nods her head like, yes, I would. Pulls the trigger, the bullet just explodes out of the barrel, hits one of the grenades, and all of a sudden it becomes 4th of July in April. Fireworks display going off, well, more or less just exploding mech parts, almost like a nuclear explosion of awesomeness, but not as powerful and made of macaroni and cheese. And so, the one thing that flops onto the ground after 5 or 10 minutes of just massive rupturing explosions, which even cause more property damage to the surrounding neighborhoods, because hey, let's face it, everyone's helping out escrow in the long run, so why not? The one thing that flops to the ground is the mail lady's name tag and her mail bag. Kips reaches down, he picks up the mail bag, slings it over his shoulder, turns around, and the glow of the fires that are jutting out of the mech, like some kind of Viking funeral pyre. One second. The glow from the fires lights up the name of the mail lady. Up until that point, Kips had no idea what her name actually was. He never even took the time to take note of it, or even ask the most basic question. What's her name? The name read Dolores Crescendens. And her ID that was stitched to the front of the U.S. postal mail bag said that she was first employed as a mail lady in 1947, 2 years after the end of World War II. And it just blows his mind. He defeated another evil bastard. But at what cost? His train of thought is interrupted by a harumphing noise. You've still got one left. His dad says, cracking open another beer. I love you, son. Do your best, and so will I. Kips starts crying. He doesn't want to do this. He can't. There's just something between him and this fight. Something more powerful than an urge to defeat a giant sentient burrito. Something more powerful than every single thing in the world. Love. Love for his dad. The thought of trying to even fight his father, the man who had supported him for so long, after winning custody of him in the divorce case, the man who had worked 4 jobs for almost crap pay, who put him through school, who took him to the doctor when he scraped his knee. The man who had taken so much flack for getting an elephant trunk. He was standing right there. Tears in his eyes as well. Trunk just kind of limp. Just, come on, son. We've got to do this. And the same thing happens. His dad, at that moment, no longer thought of him as a son, but rather as an enemy. And it broke Kip's. Jove, Jiku, and Sadface, they see the tears well up in his eyes. He can't do it. Jove exclaims, he can't fight his dad. Sadface, she doesn't know how to console him. She'd never seen Kips like this before. It was just terrifying. This moment, up until this moment, Kips had totally been in control of himself. Kips was the undefeatable superhero, the leader of their little ragtag group. To Jove and Jiku, Kips was their man, Kips was their mate, Kips was their teammate, Kips was their clan leader. And to see him brought so low by Chipotle, who had employed both his favorite mail lady and his father, it stirred something within them. Joel finally puts away Brick Breaker. He actually breaks Brick Breaker, stomps on it flat, and then for good measure, shoots it point blank with a shotgun. He turns to Jiku and goes, "We've got to do something. We've got to nail this thing to the ground fast." And Jiku agrees. He's like, "Alright, let's do this." So the two, they walk up to Kips and they're like, let me and Joel handle this. We can do it, man. We know that you don't have it in you. And Kip stops him right there. He's like, "I have to do this. If I don't, then everything we've worked for, everything we've gotten, every person we've defeated up to this point, it will be for nothing if I can't do this myself." His dad's like, "What are you waiting for? Come at me." There's no longer any sign of family. There's no longer any sign of familiarity. There's no love in his father's eyes. Just a cold, menacing glare, daring Kips to make the first move. Kips, in his mind, everything else just kind of faded away. It was just pitch black with two spotlights, one on him